As children, they played a killer's game. Now, it's the killer's turn to play with them.
Jude, can you come out to play? I'll see you at the prom.
Prom night.
I'll remember this night for the rest of my life.
If you're not back by midnight, you won't be coming home. Rated R.
Welcome to the Blind Rage Podcast. This is Brandon Ford.
And this is Mr. Motor City Jed Schaefer.
And this is Tony the Tiger, the Thunder from Down Under.
And it is the last week of a September of school scares. And we, that is Tony and me, are going to be Jed's dates to the prom.
We're going to recreate the dance scene at the end of Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion.
Ah! We should.
Whoa, that's a
I remember I was so mad because that was nominated at the MTV Movie Awards for Best Dance Sequence, and it lost to Boogie Nights.
Oh, I don't even remember a dance sequence in Boogie Nights.
Well, it's kind of a dance sequence, but it's very brief. It's just shots of them dancing in the disco. Well,
Brandon, if you fall, I will catch you.
Oh, did you know that Lisa Kudrow and Mira Sorvino and Alan Cumming, they all choreographed that themselves?
Really? Well, that sounds believable.
Well, because I think the director didn't want it to look professional, so get people who've never choreographed a dance sequence to choreograph the dance sequence, and there you have it.
What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing, because it turned out amazeballs. Isn't that right, Tony?
Yeah, ditto that.
All right. So we are watching the 1980 essential slasher Prom Night, and it was also a Jamie Lee Curtis vehicle, but it was not originally. No. It was an Eve Plum vehicle, and then they said, "Get Jan Brady the fuck out of there because Jamie Lee Curtis is on board." That is such a thing that would happen to Jan Brady, too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into that, we're going to get the plugs quickly out of the way here. So, as always, I would like to encourage everybody to check out my books in hardcover, paperback, and Kindle editions by going to Amazon.com, typing in Brandon Ford. There you'll also find my author page, which you can subscribe to in order to receive email notifications every time I have a new release. If you prefer audiobooks, I have several titles available on Audible, which you can find easily by typing my name into the Audible app. If you don't already, please follow me on Instagram at writer Brandon Ford. You can also follow me on both Twitter and Letterboxd at Brandon Ford. You could also follow Tony on Letterboxd at Tony_the_bear. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, critiques, suggestions, recommendations, feel free to email me directly at blindragepod81@gmail.com. Please don't forget to stop by the Blind Rage Podcast official Facebook page to like and subscribe. Last and most importantly, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the Blind Rage Podcast on your favorite podcasting platforms. Jed, plug it up.
Twitter, GPSG Podcast. Facebook, Gamer Parent Strategy Guide. You can find that the podcast of the same name on just about every podcast platform that this podcast is on. So when you finish listening to one, go to the other. Letterboxd, Jed Schaefer. I'm on YouTube as well, Jed Schaefer. Listen to me shake my fist at the clouds and rant like an old man about video games.
What grinds your gears?
Exactly. And it's not Lindsay
Very
Lohan.
passionate. So before we get into the movie, let's get into recent views. Jed, let's start with you. Have you seen anything noteworthy lately?
Yeah. My first movie of I forgot what I was gonna reference it as. It's the worst movie I've seen recently. I know that. It's called Tall Girl, or I'm sorry, it's Tall Girl 2.
Oh no.
Yeah. The first Tall Girl was inoffensive. It wasn't great. It was just fine. It was a coming of age story. She's 6'2", and she's made fun of for being 6'2", and it's not exactly the most deep thing. I mean, she's white and privileged and upper class, and poor her. She's 6'2". But in the end, she gains confidence and everything's fine. Tall Girl 2 completely resets that. She has no confidence at all over again. Typical, we've got to break up the boyfriend and girlfriend at the end of the first act, have another love interest, so there's a triangle, have a bitchy rival that suddenly becomes a good friend because script demands it. It's one of those sequels that looks at the first movie and goes, no, we're not going to build on from what the first movie was. We're just going to hit the reset button and do it all over again. And it was dreadful. It was just friggin' dreadful. I didn't expect good of it, and it couldn't even live up to that expectation.
Who's in it?
No one you'd really know. Like, the biggest star in it is the tall girl's dad, which is Steve Zahn.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. He's only in it 5 minutes tops. Everyone else is a younger actor. The tall girl is played by a gal named Ava Michelle. She was previously known for being on Dance Moms.
Oh my god.
okay.
And she was kicked off of Dance Moms because she was too tall. She was. Like,
I just pulled that out of my ass.
She was like 5'9", 5'10" at the age of 13.
Mm-hmm.
And
wow.
Yeah, and the chick who's in charge of the dance studio was like, "Well, you're just overshadowing the other girls, so you've got to go."
So, was this movie a choice of yours, or were you forced into it?
I was in the room, and it was select. I did not. I knew going in.
Read the plot and go, "Oh, that looks interesting."
Yeah, no. This was one of my teenage sons was actually spending time with us, and it was my wife's pick. She was like, "Oh, hey, I know," because we'd already watched Tall Girl together, so she was like, "Hey, Tall Girl 2 is out. We could watch all that together." And I'm like, "Oh, Jesus! Oh, this is going to be an evening of torture, isn't it?" And
what
it
did
was.
the twins think?
And it was. So
you were shrinking into your seat.
Did the twins like it at least?
Roland didn't even bother to watch it. He was probably upstairs in his room watching South Park at the time. But Leith liked it. Leith is he's just not critical about movies.
Yeah, he can tolerate a lot.
Yeah, he either likes them or he doesn't, and I can't think of many movies like there's been one or two slasher movies that he's walked away and gone, that wasn't so good. But for the most part, I mean, like, he liked the Silent Night quote unquote remake.
Oh, okay.
So that just shows you he's pretty open minded.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And my wife thought it was fine. I was the only one who was like, you all owe me. You all owe me 100 minutes.
Anything else?
Event Horizon. That was better.
Oh,
That was a hell of
nice.
a lot better. Yeah. I could see, if you don't know anything about it, it got chopped up to hell in the production, in the editing room, because who produced it? Was it New Line or Weinstein? I don't remember who the production house was, but the test screenings really didn't go well, and so they chopped up 20-30 minutes out of it, and it's still a good movie, but you could tell where things got lost, and you could see that it's not so much edited as it is stitched together.
Is that the movie where there was supposed to be an orgy sequence?
Yeah. Well, I think that the footage that you saw was supposed to be a lot more to it.
Yeah.
The hell scene.
It's still good.
Yeah. It was effective. Like for when I watched it, I was young enough to be scared by him. So.
Yeah, I mean, I could see where it could have been even better, and I think if some of the missing footage was in there, it would be really good. But even what was in there, that last act gets really intense and really bonkers. Like, it goes friggin' nuts. But it's still, for what it is, it's still really good, and it's probably, from what I understand, it's Paul W.S. Anderson's only good movie. I don't know. I've never seen the Resident Evil movies, and I have no desire to.
Tony, what about you? What have you been watching?
Incidentally, the last two movies I watched were science fictions, which I don't mind getting into every now and then. One of them was a French one called Big Bug, which was sort of a satire about a country that's run by artificial intelligence, and the artificial starts taking over, and there's a woman who her house is filled with like legacy models that, because they haven't been updated, they try to protect it from the outside world. But and the other thing I watched was a David Cronenberg movie called Existence, which I hadn't seen for a long time, and it was better in my memories. But in saying that, I still found it a good movie. It's, it got me watching and interested to the end, even though I know how it goes. And I like David Cronenberg's use of gore, even in non-horror. So. And that's me.
Well, all I have is a revisit. I checked out The Gate from what was it, 1986, with Stephen Dorff.
Exactly. Remember
that. Yeah, I've seen it a good bit of times. I think it holds up. I don't have a clue how they managed to get a PG-13 for that one, because it's pretty fucking intense. And it shows a lot of scenes with children in jeopardy. But I did notice that there were a lot of movies that came out during the 80s that were similar, like The Pit and The Cellar and Cameron's Closet.
When did it come out?
They were all in
the telly movie.
90.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's not like the game.
Oh, just wondering.
I don't. That was random.
Monster Squad, that got like a PG, and that's in the same. It's not as intense as The Gate, obviously, but for the copious amounts of swearing and the way the kids are put in peril, and there's some strong adult themes in it and some sexual themes. It's like you got the same rating as as Back to the Future.
Yeah,
It's a little odd.
The 80s were a very different time.
Well, wasn't it one of the Indiana Jones is actually what brought about the PG-13 rating? So maybe because it was a fairly new rating, the classifiers weren't too sure what to apply it to.
Yeah, it was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and Gremlins.
Oh, okay.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them got parents were really upset because of the intensity of both of them, and now we have PG-13.
Yeah. Well, it took a while to come out too because it was just G and PG.
Did you not have
or
M
X.
as well at one stage?
No, we never had
Okay.
M. I
We did
think
have
R came out in like the 60s or the 70s.
and then there was X until
NC-17.
one until the porn industry kind of co-opted that, and two until the MPA realized that they actually didn't legally own the X.
Oh,
Hmm.
who owns the X?
Nobody. That was the problem, is
Ah.
that they never bothered to trademark it,
Yeah, yeah.
and because they wanted to try and reclaim it and take it away from porn, and when they found out that they didn't own the trademark, and they tried to trademark it, the U.S. Trademark Office said, "Yeah, no, it's
You can't
It's
trademark
kind
a
of the
letter.
public-
Yes.
yeah, kind of like it's in the public domain now. You're about a day late and $1 short," and so they just said screw it, and they created NC-17 as an end around, and that's done so well.
I remember in my local mom and pop video store in the horror section, they had a version of Frankenstein, I believe it was from the 70s, and it had an X rating on it. I think that was the only time I've ever seen a VHS box with an X rating on it. And it wasn't like the way ratings are done, where it's like at the bottom with the credits. It was on the actual artwork,
Okay.
Huh.
but I never saw it. But I always remember that cover because it was just like a close up of stitched together flesh, and the title was kind of like stamped in red letters across the stitches. Okay. So, does everybody have their cummerbunds and their clip-on bow ties? Because the limo just pulled up. We are going to the prom. And Jed has been my go-to guy for where you can watch along.
You can watch along on one of a dozen different streaming services at the time of this recording. IMDb TV, Plex, Pluto, Popcorn, Crackle, Redbox, Canopy, Tubi, Vudu, Roku, and 2 different versions of Peacock, all for free.
Oh, I reckon it might also
Nice.
be on YouTube, and I watched it on Amazon.
Pretty much throw a stone and you're going to find Prom Night somewhere on a streaming service.
Yes. All right. So we are going to begin with a 3 count, and then we're going to get into it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
That production logo is just so friendly. It looks like they're about to
Yes.
start a sitcom.
I've told the story before, and it's not a very interesting one, but I'll tell it again. And I told it while I was recording a commentary with you, Tony.
Yes.
But we took a field trip to the main branch of the Philadelphia Library to do research for a research paper. And we got to use the microfiche. And instead of doing actual research, I was looking at old TV Guide. And I wanted to see what was on TV the night I was born. And Prom Night was a primetime movie on HBO the night I was born.
You should have checked out what was on TV the night you were conceived.
I was probably conceived around Christmas, so it was probably something Christmas related. It was probably
Get them
one
in
of
the
the
mood,
fucking
yeah.
claymation Rudolph. Well, that's what they said. What they said. There was a lot of summer babies at the time I was recorded because during the winter months it's so cold. There's nothing to do but staying and fuck.
That just makes me think of an old Carlin bit. You know why you don't get laid much on Thanksgiving?
What?
Because all the coats are on the bed.
Only the turkey gets the stuffing.
Brr.
I think these kids are really fucked up. I think there's something seriously wrong with them.
Maybe they're mimes.
I don't know. And I never knew that this building that they were in, I don't remember what it actually was, but it's supposed to be an abandoned convent.
Okay.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
That's what it says on Wikipedia.
As in the movie or in reality?
In the movie, it's something else. They say what it really was, but I don't remember.
It just
what
seems
it's
really
supposed
out
to
of
be
the
a
way. Like
convent.
the road leading up to it seems dirt almost.
Yeah, I think this is like supposed to be a shortcut or something.
Yeah.
Where they live.
No, I'm saying in reality to have a building in the middle of nothing is weird.
Well, I kind of believe that this probably was meant to be a convent because a convent does come into play in part 4, and there's a pretty big religious element in that one.
Yeah, I'm looking at the plot summary on Wiki, and it does say that the kids play hide and seek in an abandoned convent.
Oh, that's not hide and seek. That's fucking some deranged fucking game of
Infant
tag
homicide.
I guess. And some news to everybody listening, I'm sure, but I grew up on these kinds of movies and I never played anything like this. This seems like very sociopathic.
Yeah, if it's tag by like the most sadistic human being ever imagined.
We used to have a game called Murder in the Dark, but I forget how to play it.
Oh. So you would have fit right in with these kids then?
No, I can't even remember because I feel like we played it once in the classroom, and like it had something to do with like having your eyes you couldn't see. I don't know.
Okay, why weren't you playing Heads Up 7 Up? What the fuck's going on?
Wait, what's Heads Up 7 Up?
Was that game with lemonade?
No. It was there was like it was something that we would do when we didn't have anything to do. It was like toward the end of the year when it was like before summer, and we like really didn't have any work, so there really wasn't anything for us to do if we didn't have a movie. But teacher would turn off all the lights, and they would choose 7 kids, and the whole class would put their heads down and with their arms folded and their thumbs up. And if you were one of the 7, you got to walk around and tap one of their thumbs. And whoever got tapped had to put their thumb down. And then when teachers cried heads up, they had to guess who tapped their thumb. It was so stupid.
Great school time killer.
It was fun at the time.
Could you tell it was your teacher that touched you if you smelt your thumb?
Yes. I used to watch this a lot as a kid, and this scene always really, really bothered me.
Yeah.
Because it's so sadistic and mean-spirited. And especially when the little girl starts stuttering.
Yeah.
Well, she has the stuttering thing where she's cowering against the window, which is awful. Then she falls out of the window, which is awful. And then to make things 10 times even more awful, the other window falls on top of her. It's fucking overkill.
They really wanted you to either feel sympathy or the director just hated the living shit out of kids.
Some trauma reliving here.
That's terrible.
They're all idiots. And even that's one crying straight away. Like, Jesus.
I know she's not a pretty little girl either. But when I was reading up on this on Wikipedia, this is pretty much I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
And the book came out in the 70s, so it wouldn't have surprised me if that's where the script was inspired.
That's decapitating now.
This movie's got a lot of different DNA. Like, it's got I Know What You Did Last Summer in it. The whole movie is structured incredibly similar to Halloween.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I thought it was structured very much like Carrie.
And it's got Carrie to it too. Like,
it's got Carrie.
That was going to be the third one I was going to mention. Is that it's Halloween and Carrie combined with I Know What You Did Last Summer as the flashpoint.
Yeah, it's got a whole mishmash of a lot of things.
And then Leslie Nielsen.
And then Leslie Nielsen. This is one of his last serious roles. There's Creepshow after this.
Oh, and then Nuts. Might have been 83.
Oh, okay.
Well, here's the one that gets killed.
He gets killed in Nuts?
By Barbara Streisand.
Oh, no. I would have fired my agent if I were him. Speaking of overdoing it, I hate to say it, but the mother is... Come on. She needed to take it down a couple notches.
Only Toni Collette in Hereditary can do it justice.
That's right.
I just like that they brought the mother to the crime scene.
I know.
Don't bring her to the coroner's office and have her identify the body there. No, let's have it.
Well, she didn't even have to identify the body.
Yeah, because
Leslie Nielsen could have done it.
The father.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. In that case, what the hell was the mother there for anyway?
Yeah.
Well, he looked out the window and he saw her and he said no. So I don't know how, but I guess she found out and took it upon herself to go. That or one of the detectives there told her. But why Leslie Nielsen wasn't a cop? Why is he walking around the crime scene?
Oh, what was his role? I just thought he was the cop.
He was the principal.
Oh, okay. That's right.
He is. I thought he was a cop too.
No, he's the principal of the school.
Now that makes sense, because I was watching it the first time thinking he was the cop, and then he just kept showing up in school.
He sure doesn't act like a principal. That's weird.
Well, he reprimands that really ugly, greasy, pockmarked kid
Did you want to add any more insults to that line?
with the unibrow.
And the hump and the hook nose and the,
The
scraggly
warts, yeah.
teeth and
Yeah, he couldn't. There was no helping him at all. And also, I found this interesting that Jamie, the role was not handed to her. She actually had the audition, and they learned knowing how to dance was part of her audition.
Okay.
Alex, she's cute. Besides, she's very funny and very intelligent. It'll give you somebody to do your equations.
so obviously this is after Halloween, but where does it? Because she did like what 4 horror movies in a row. It was this, and there was Terror Train and Fog, and obviously Halloween.
Halloween 2.
Halloween 2. 5. Where does this come after the Fog in Terror Train?
I think this was after. I think this was before everything, because this was shot in, I think, August of '79.
Okay. So then auditioning makes more sense then. Because I was going to say, if she had already been in the Fog and Terror Train, why are we having her jump through the hoops?
Yeah, this I think that because Halloween wasn't a success in '78 when it came out, and '79 was really when it picked up steam. So that's probably why they brought her in to read.
Apparently, the original idea for this story was about a psychotic gynecologist.
Yeah, don't go to the doctor. What the fuck?
I don't know what's weird.
I don't know.
I read that and I was like, okay, I don't know what's weirder. The idea of a psychotic gynecologist or the fact that they somehow managed to turn that
into this. But
I think somebody just put that there.
Oh no, but in saying that, there was the story called Dead Ringers about the twin gynecologists who became psychotic.
Still no date.
Well, there have been cases where perverts have posed as gynecologists and did full exams on women who didn't know any better.
That wasn't in The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, was it?
No, it was not. He was a real gynecologist. He was just a fucking
just takes his glove off.
Predator. That scene was so creepy.
That was. It was effectively creepy. Just
yes.
Hey, beautiful needle.
There's Slick.
Come on, I won't bite.
I won't bite.
Who are you? Seymour Crane. But
Oh,
I just go up on the curb.
they call me Slick.
Yeah, you are a charmer.
Slick. Old enough.
I've heard about guys like you running over girls on the sidewalk.
Just some girls, if they're good looking.
This van is his entire game. If he didn't have a fucking
van
car, nobody would be looking at him.
No. He makes Shelley in Friday 3 look like Channing Tatum.
Yes, I would say, yes.
No, I do like. I mean, for how ugly he is, I think I like that he's so confident in himself. I think nowadays,
Well, the van, that's because of the van.
Yes.
Is this Wendy? Oh, this girl is such a fucking dip. I don't know if she was trying to play the role like she rode the short bus or if she was just a really bad actress. But everything about her just seems like she got knocked on the head.
Well, I'm not relating to this, but she actually reminds me a little of Heather Matazzaro.
Not at all, no.
I can see a little bit.
Thank you, Jed.
And it's Matarazzo.
Yeah. You try saying my last name.
I have yet to
This
hear your
giant-
last name be pronounced, so I don't know.
He was. Always thought he was really fucking hot.
Come from?
The back door was open.
Oh my lord!
That guy?
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
he's actually giving me like kind of Zach Braff vibes, but with a blonde wig.
Worse than that.
Really?
Turned you on, didn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm missing
Oh,
something.
yeah. Now that it... Over the shoulder, I couldn't tell, but now that they're pulled apart, he does. Like, a bigger nose, but still, he's got a whole lot of Zach Braff going on.
Okay. Maybe I'm misremembering.
No, you can be attracted to that. We've all got our kinks.
Is this Wendy yet?
No, they're now in someone else's.
It's a guy.
Yes.
Oh yeah, this is Nick. Yeah, I forgot to say that the kid who plays Nick, Brock Simpson, he's the only actor who's in all 4 of the Prom Night movies as different characters.
Yeah.
And something tells me that had a lot to do with his father being producer or director,
Don Simpson.
Peter.
So I take it then that Peter Simpson was either producer or director of all 4 movies.
I think so. And I think Paul Zaza did the music for all of them.
Yeah, he did the disco songs as well.
He did. And the one song, Love Me Till I Die, sounds... Well, they had the copy some of the disco songs, but Love Me Till I Die sounds a lot like I Will Survive.
Oh, okay. It's even got the same syllable pattern.
Yeah. And I forget what the song Prom Night was supposed to sound like. But we were speaking about Cabin Fever 2, Jed, or I mentioned it, and they play the song Prom Night in that at the prom. I was very surprised.
I have not seen either of the Cabin Fever movies.
Now
Well,
there's
there's
3.
four.
Yeah, 4.
There's
Well, there's
4 now?
4 counting the remake.
I did like in the original they used that song by Jared Hess, The Road Leads to Nowhere.
Oh yeah, the from Last House on the
I
Left.
thought that was a nice little touch, but it didn't add anything. Like it was
No, it
misplaced
didn't.
in this movie, but
Well, it was there because Eli Roth is like Last House on the Left.
and
That's
himself.
pretty much it. And himself, he does.
Yeah, Eli Roth is Eli Roth's biggest fan.
Yes, is the
That's true.
personification of autofellatio. Did you end up watching Knock Knock? Jed?
Me?
No.
No. Why would you even mention that?
No,
to
no.
me?
Well,
should
you were
not
saying
do
that you find it a challenge when you hear about a bad movie.
I don't even know that I've found it. Because I do remember we talked about it. I don't think I remember finding it anywhere.
Oh no.
I think it's on Netflix.
Is it?
Yeah, that's where I saw
Feel
it.
free not to watch it.
Yeah, please don't watch it. It's really bad.
Got Keanu
And-
Reeves in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's currently only available to rent or it's currently you have to pay to watch it. So
How the hell should I know?
Well, they must have recently taken it down because it was on Netflix for a while.
Yeah, that's right.
if it comes up though on one of the streaming services, I might just have to.
I don't think you should do that. No. But
Are you heavily attached to your brain
girl-
cells?
the girl who plays Wendy does play a very, very convincing cunt. and somebody's dog is howling.
I thought that was in the movie. I was like, where's that coming from?
For a moment, I thought that too, and then it was in the high school, and I'm like, okay, now the dog can't be in the school.
Well, it's these people who let their dogs out to do their beeswax,
Those
and
damn
then they go
Baja men.
back. Then they go back in instead of, because the dog wants to come back in. It's cold.
None of your business.
For the longest time, Jamie has, like, from a young age, had an old lady voice, in my opinion.
Now I know why Kim won't go over.
She's got a very mature voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, you guys ever get
For that matter, she just had kind of a... She looks that way, too. Like,
Yes.
she's never... Even in Halloween, she didn't look 17, 18. She
Yeah.
looked 24, 25,
Well, yeah. Wasn't she only like? She was young too, wasn't she? She was like 18 or 19.
Yeah, but in saying that, there are some people who just look mature from a young age.
Well, that was also the 70s. People looked older.
Nice.
There's all these amazing haircuts.
Kim?
Oh, no, you don't. Nick, she's smiling. Got a big
That's one of the fun things about watching movies this old with teenagers, is just watching them be agog at fashion and technology, and like Roland, my oldest, I say this with all the love in the world because I love my boys. I love them dearly. Roland is not a deep thinker. He sees a movie and it's a very surface level appreciation for what is going on. He doesn't think about themes. He doesn't think about symbolism and allegory and stuff like that. It's just there's explosions and dick jokes and boobs.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody analyzes movies like that.
Right, and that's that's perfectly fine. I have no problem with that. But that being said, when he watches something like this, he just won't even bother to think of it being old. He'll just look and be like, well, why don't they just call them on their cell phone?
Oh,
And we'll have to go, dude, this movie was made before I was born.
Mm.
Oh, they didn't have those then? Back in the 90s? I'm
well,
like, asshole, I was born in the 70s. There's so many things wrong with your sentence.
I really think it's hard for especially kids your age to imagine a time where there wasn't the internet.
Oh yeah,
It's like the dark ages.
Oh yeah, they have the idea of the technology that they take as so ubiquitous. The idea that it didn't exist before. When I told them, neither of them have ever bought an album in their life. For them, music has always been streaming. So I will mention buying an album, and at first they'll kind of like cock their head, because I'm still the type that buys albums. They'll kind of cock their head like, buying an album? What?
Well, do you buy digitally or physical?
Digital.
Yeah. Okay.
But I still...
Yeah, I buy certain ones too.
But then I will mention, so I got to download it off iTunes or download it off Amazon or Bandcamp. And somehow we got in the topic of discussing that at one point. And I was like, back when I was 19, 20, 21, when, when Napster came out, we would explain how you'd have to tie up the phone lines to do that. You want to download Smells Like Teen Spirit, that's a 20-minute ordeal for a 5-minute song.
I remember that.
They could not comprehend. Oh, I know why. It's because they were downloading a game on PlayStation, and the game's like 60 gigs, and it's, oh God, I've got to wait an hour. I'm like, dude, I had to wait 20 minutes to download a 5-minute song when I was your age. Shut up.
I remember too when I used to have my Napster library. If I would download a song that had a skip in it, I wouldn't bother downloading it again. I would just deal with it. It's fine. I don't care.
But going back to your son, what you were saying is, I was disappointed. I went to a double feature as part of a film school. It was held by a film school, and I just went in as a regular public person. But we were watching Soylent Green and Logan's Run, and I was just so disappointed hearing all of these students snicker around me about how bad the models and stuff looked, because they weren't at all taking into appreciation the age of these movies, that for the time when they came out, this was excellent. And
Yes.
to not be able to appreciate the story either because of that. It was like, you're film students and this is how you're looking at film.
Right. You have no context
Yeah.
of, you will be happy to know then. It was about a month ago. We were in Best Buy and we were there. It was when we went to buy them their laptops because they were just transitioning to homeschooling. And as we passed by, there was one of those movie racks, like in the main aisle, and they had a 4K ultra high def new version of John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh, nice.
And it immediately caught my eye and went, ooh, The Thing. Ooh, neat. 4K. Sweet. And my oldest Roland was like, what's that? What's The Thing? And he's looking at it. He's like, this is cool. Can we get it? And I'm like, no, we're already going to be spending like $1,000 by the time we're done today. I'm not spending. I want to spend more. And my wife just goes, fine, get it. So we get it, and we come home that night, and we're like, okay, if we're buying it, we're going to watch it tonight. And I hadn't seen The Thing in probably 30 years. But it's The Thing. It needs no hyperbole. It's just that classic of a movie. And we didn't tell him anything other than I said, my wife Alicia goes, we're not going to tell you when this movie was made. You're just going to sit down and watch it. And they watch it. It's over. And they're like, wow, that was crazy. That was nuts. And that's when I go, and you know when that movie was made? It came out when I was like 4. And they just had this look on their face of, holy shit. It just blew their mind that everything in that movie was practical. There was no CGI, no animation. It was all practical stuff. I'm like, that's when I complain about CGI. This is the reason why, because look what you can do with practical effects. You can do something like this and make it feel tangible and real, and it grabs you, and it and you remember that. You won't remember shitty CGI, but you'll remember this.
Yeah.
He was just trying to help me.
If you're brought up with lazy filmmaking, then you accept lazy filmmaking.
Yep. Well, I take that back. You will remember bad CGI if it's really bad.
Yes.
Nightmare on Elm Street 2010. I'm looking in your direction.
I don't think anyone's been looking in that direction.
True, we do all try to avert our eyes.
Yes. Cover my face.
God.
Oh, wait.
So what I hated about that last scene is that someone came into that cafeteria with a ski mask on, and the one defending the girl is the one that gets attacked. It's like, jeez.
See, this is where we see him in principal mode. But I didn't want to cut you guys off when you were talking, but when Wendy and Jamie's character Kim were having their little thing in the gym, Wendy says a line that there's a variation of in all 4 of the movies. It's not who you go with, it's who takes you home. That's another bit of consistency with all of the movies.
You have been nothing but a disgrace to the school and its community.
That's a weird thing to have repeat.
I like it because it links the movies together.
It's not a bad thing.
They're all taken home by a coroner. Well, not all of them.
And this is one of 10 million fucking movies that I grew up on, especially horror. Well, not even necessarily a horror movie, but 80s movie, where the prom takes place in a gym. And I grew up thinking that my prom was going to take place in the high school gym.
The same place he killed Robin Hammond.
And where did it end up taking place?
Back here.
At a hotel. I didn't go, but it was at some hotel.
Revenge.
The prom I went to did as well. Like I was homeschooled for high school, so but a friend of mine, I ended up being her escort.
Her dad, yeah.
I know I'm opening up myself up to ridicule by using that word. But I was her platonic date, I guess would be a better way to put it. And yeah, like I remember going to a hotel. Why is it at a hotel? Shouldn't it be at the high school and the gym?
Well, I remember saying something to that effect on Facebook and saying, in movies, in particular horror movies, why is the prom always in the fucking gym? And apparently that isn't uncommon if you live in really small towns. It's a small suburban town thing. Not so much in big cities.
That makes sense. Yeah, because the gymnasium is really not going to be able to hold 300.
Plus, I would assume that the class would be a lot smaller, too. So why rent out a huge banquet hall? They don't even have the prom in the land down under where Tony comes from. Isn't that crazy?
Where ours is called the school formal. Because you dress up in formal attire.
and they tried to trick American audiences with the trailer for The Loved Ones. Because what's his name? Your boyfriend,
Xavier,
or ex-boyfriend, I should say. Xavier says that she said she accepted to go to the prom with him. But that's not in the movie.
No, I think it was just looped over the top.
Yeah, it was just looped. Yeah, but yeah, there's a couple. There's I think 2 different versions of the trailer. There's one with the prom line and one without the prom line.
Well, I know when America got the movie The Castle, they had to change one word. The mother serves rissoles, which is like meatballs. So if you don't understand the Australian word, then you're not going to understand. So it's not the fault of Americans that we use different wording than you.
Well, I'm a little short of cash.
Not only is he very, very unattractive, but he looks about 50.
Yes. He looks like John Travolta with Down syndrome.
No. No. I think he could pass for Joe Spinell's brother.
Hulk Hogan with brown hair. No.
Hulk Hogan with hair. I was just thinking he kind of looks like one of the Geico cavemen.
Yes, yeah.
Got that prominent cranial ridge, like early man. And
like he can't shut his mouth.
The unibrow is just ridiculous. I don't know how they actually put him in front of a camera with that thing. You would think that there would be... Well, he got makeup put on before, and wouldn't the makeup person be like, ooh, I need to tweeze that?
This was the 70s. Well, I'll say this was the 70s.
Just a quick aside. there was only 4 seconds worth of tennis, and that was still more believable tennis action than any of the tennis in
Pieces.
Yeah, in Pieces. On the other hand, Pieces has, Bastard.
It does.
Oh, we got the shower scene. Oh, I meant to tell you, because Brandon, you keep wanting to see a male shower scene that's sort of sexualized. There was one in the new Scream movie.
Really?
There was a shower scene where a guy was like trying. He was.
It was a home shower.
Exploited?
Though, no. It was.
It was a group shower.
No, it was just him in his own home, but sort of the camera would sort of hang longingly, kind of like it does for girls in the shower.
Did you see anything?
No, God, no.
You didn't even see ass? That's bullshit.
Well, you might. I actually don't remember, but you obviously don't see penis.
Of course not.
No, because that's still a landmark event.
That would have stood it apart from the other Screams.
Well, and when I made that comment, there are shower scenes with like David Dakota movies, like The Brotherhood and stuff like that, but I really don't really count them as, real movies.
Cinema releases.
Yeah, yes. Legitimate film.
Okay, so would you count the shower scene in Friday the 13th, the final chapter with Peter Barton?
No.
Because that was specifically engineered for that.
Hello?
But you don't even see anything, do you?
No, you don't. But it was Joe Zito wanting to flip the trope on its head, and instead of having the pretty blonde girl vulnerable alone in the shower, have the pretty guy alone in the shower.
Well, he wasn't exploited, so it doesn't count.
There are rules.
Got to at least see ass cheek before it could be counted as exploited.
That's right.
One shower scene, and it was a female shower scene. One shower scene I always liked, like as a sexual child, was in Point Break. If anyone remembers that movie.
I don't.
I love Point Break. I haven't seen it forever, but I love it.
I reckon there's a scene where there's this woman full on naked in the shower.
Oh God, I can't remember. Most of what I remember is just Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze trying to outdo each other.
Yes, it's almost forgotten that it was like a police, a crime movie. Like there's bank robberies going on and stuff.
I can't believe there was actually a remake. I forget a lot of the time.
Yeah,
that was another one of the many remakes, like Black Christmas, like Charlie's Angels. That just came and went.
Yeah.
Only that was a couple of years before.
I saw it on a plane and hardly remember it.
I forgot it happened.
I remember I looked at the IMDb page for it, and I was surprised that they actually kept the character names.
Was there anybody in it of note?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I knew one of the actresses simply because she comes from my city, and she's been in a few things since as well. Teresa Palmer. She's in some. I think it might be a show called The Discovery of Witches or something like. It's a show. I forget the name, but
yeah,
along that line.
It's on Shudder. I'm familiar with it. I know of it at least.
It might be that one or something else, but she was in a good movie that was directed by one of my classmates called 237. That was. I've never seen 13 Reasons Why, but that I always imagine that it's the same type of storyline.
Yeah, there's a couple of people in the supporting cast that went on to a couple things, or at least were familiar from other things. Max Theory, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Thero. He was in that Bates Motel show as Norman Bates' older brother.
Oh.
Delroy Lindo, African American. He's a character actor.
Was he in Get Shorty?
Kiss the king. On the mouth.
Sorry, that's a random one.
That is a random one. Yes, he was.
Oh, yep, I know who you're talking about.
And Phantasm 2's James LaGrosse. I think it's Phantasm.
The S is silent. Yeah, he was. He replaced what's his face?
Yeah,
That'd be a good
I'm
name
a
for a
Phantasm
thing.
nut, and I can't think of it.
Yeah, the main guy.
Yeah.
He didn't come back. For a lot of the queer fans of Phantasm, who I think are, well, we're not that far apart, but who are closer to your age, who like grew up on Phantasm, I know a lot of them had a huge crush on him.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm comfortable enough in my sexuality to look at a guy and go, I could see what the attraction is. I don't see it with him. To me, he looks, the best way to put it is doofy. Just kind of a kind of look to him.
Well, he gets gushed over when he goes to conventions. So does Kane Hodder.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean,
people.
Kane Hodder's
Well, people.
cool, I guess, but hot, gushworthy.
Well, people want to buy his underwear. I've heard, and he gets approached, if you know what I'm saying, in the men's room a lot. People are very inappropriate with him.
But is he heterosexual or homosexual?
Yes, he's straight.
Yeah, sorry. That's I never actually I don't find straight people attractive. I know when they are, I can say that someone's very handsome looking or whatever, but if I know that they're not going to be attracted to me, I actually don't pursue someone.
Yeah, because if Kane was straight, you'd have more of a chance. You've
he was
made the
gay.
same argument before.
Yes, I'm just saying.
Or straight, you know what I mean.
You repeated that dumb story at the beginning.
It's true.
Now, children.
Meow.
Jed likes it when you give me a hard time.
I like
can
seeing all the
always tell.
Volkswagens, by the way.
I can always tell, like, as I'm listening to one of your guys' episodes, whenever you'll throw out one of those jokes or one of those remarks that just stops Brandon dead in his tracks. And I can hear him just put his hands on his face and just, he has no comeback. He has no way to get out of the situation. No segue. It's just, oh, God, what the hell do I say now? I can hear it. It's like the moment he leaves a door open and you just blow through it. And I sit in my chair laughing. It's great.
Mm.
You can hear the silent slap that he wants to give me.
Yep.
Mom, you look terrific. I remember putting it on the dressing table.
I thought it was interesting that they already knew who the prom king and queen was ahead of time, and they did that rehearsal.
Do they even still do that?
I think so.
I mean, I don't know if they did it at the prom that I went to because we left after like 30 minutes.
I know. I don't know how reliable this was, but I remember asking who was prom queen at my prom, and supposedly there was one. And um, the girl who was deserved it, I thought, because she was really nice. She had a lot of friends. She was very popular. Um, so I'm happy for her.
Okay.
It wasn't, a bitchy girl like Wendy.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the girls who was in my graduating class was very bitchy and was named Wendy. She was such a fucking twat.
You know what story popularized the name Wendy?
Peter Pan.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Amazing.
you like?
You look almost like a woman.
Oh, thank you.
She is not.
Are you gonna help me with these, or you gonna just stand there and leer?
You're my sister. I'll leave.
That's not a very prom-worthy outfit.
No, I hated her dress. I thought it looked like something you would buy from a second-hand shop. That
Like, I'm
looked
not
good,
I'm
but didn't
sure-
fit you at all.
Like, I'm not expecting someone to go looking like, like they're going out to the Met Gala or to the Academy Awards or anything. It's prom, but at the same time, maybe not your grandmother's shawl for going to the Sizzler.
This is a pink sack. God. Oh.
Again, it doesn't have to be a sexy dress.
No.
Prom dresses could be regal. They could be beautiful and elegant, but did you just get some curtains and tie it off?
This one was better.
Okay.
Yeah. That looks like a prom dress.
Yes.
That she's falling out of.
Yes. She needs to put those puppies on a leash.
Maybe you needed like one size slightly bigger. I don't know. Or
I don't know what to say right now. Just listening to the queer co-host and the straight co-host ramble on about the fashion.
See, the maid was wearing a better dress than Jamie Lee. See, I'd be creeped out at this moment.
what? Three guys in a
wait.
beat-up Chevy Nova that's the color of primer? What could
Yes.
possibly be wrong with that?
Yes, I knew it. Remember when we were doing Junior? I said that song
Oh, it's like
was
library.
from Prom Night. This is the song.
You guys needed a ride, okay?
Couldn't the guys have got a ride with someone else?
Oh, yeah.
Better like this.
And Junior was also a Canadian production.
Yes.
Your idea, right? Anyway, you look
I still have a place in my heart for Junior. As much as you didn't like it. Oh.
I'm assuming there's another movie called Junior, and we're not talking
Yes,
about
not-
the terrible
not-
Arnold Schwarzenegger
not the Arnold
movie with
Schwarzenegger one.
Reagan.
No, we're talking about another terrible movie called
Okay.
Junior.
What was the other name of it? Hot Water? Yes.
And again, all roads,
Lead to
lead
Madonna.
back to Prom Night.
Oh, okay.
Well, no. Well, I haven't found a connection, but Jeremy Ratchford, as I said, from Junior is in Prom Night 3.
Oh, yes, yes.
And he was very cute.
Now, I remember Prom Night 2 had a completely different style storyline, didn't it? where it was like,
Well, yeah, it wasn't supposed to be Prom Night 2.
was that a ghost story?
They just wanted to capitalize on the Prom Night name, but the original title was The Haunting of Hamilton High.
Okay. And then did part 3 return to the formula of part 1?
No, part 3 continued with the characters from part 2.
Okay.
And then part 4 is a totally different story. But the opening sequence in part 4 that is kind of the catalyst for what happens takes place on the night of the prom in part 2.
Yeah.
In 1957.
And it's believed that Prom Night, that the high school, because they have the same name, that the high school in Prom Night 2 is the same as this one.
Oh, it's so not.
I'm just saying, there's continuity nerds who insist that they're the same, they're all in the same continuity. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, I think the school name is a little bit tenuous.
Yes, it's a thin thread.
There can't be more than one Hamilton High in the country, but...
Oh, disco.
And I actually saw Prom Night 2 before I saw Prom Night.
Yeah, that was the same for me.
I saw it, and because it was the box that attracted me.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got a great cover.
Oh, yeah, I love that. That's one of the best cover arts of the 80s. It's just so eye-grabbing. And so I went back and watched part 1, assuming that it was going to be in the style of part 2, and...
Not at all.
I was very, very confused as a kid. I was like, how are these connected?
There's an I think it's from the UK. The UK version of it is an incarnation of that artwork, only it's animated, and it's Mary Lou is actually coming out of the locker. It's weird.
Huh.
I haven't seen that one in forever. But I was not too happy that they totally changed the cover when Prom Night 2 came out on DVD.
Oh, okay. I reckon I've seen it on DVD with the original cover.
I took her for a walk to calm her down.
And they don't even use the original aspect ratio. It's cropped and it looks like shit. It just looks like they had the original full frame VHS and cut the top and bottoms off.
Aww.
Yeah, it looks really bad. But there's a version that's on Tubi that looks better. I'm pretty sure it's the original 185 that was shown theatrically.
Oh God! I just noticed his bow tie. It's just around his neck. Oh God!
Thanks for the dance.
Do you believe her?
Not sure what we can do.
Oh.
Swear everyone in this movie's got the same damn haircut.
Yeah. It's one of two.
This dance sequence
Came out of nowhere.
I think Jamie does fine, but the guy's moves are almost as bad as Crispin Glover's in Friday 4.
But I think that it was probably of the style of the time. I wouldn't believe it if it was better.
Well, this was choreographed by a professional choreographer.
At least Crispin Glover's is fun, though.
The thing with him stretching out his arms and throwing his head back, I don't know what that was supposed to be. But it did not look good.
That was the move, the praying mantis.
Shut up, Tony.
I remember reading, it was a couple days ago, I was reading a critique of this on Letterboxd, where someone was pointing out that not including the instigating death, there isn't a kill until the 61-minute mark.
Yes.
And I was just looking at the timer going, so how much of this run, how much of the, of what time left we have between now and the first kill is taken up by this damn dance scene?
Yeah, this could have been cut.
It really does feel
Completely.
like they went, we've got 85 minutes worth of movie. Shit, we need to pad this out.
Well, when it starts going, it does get really pretty tense. I think Wendy's chase sequence is really good. And when
This reminded me of Naked Gun, by the way. Or Aeroplane, as it's called.
the dippy bitch, whatever the fuck her name is, with the big lips, Jude, when she gets her throat slit, and you don't see anything, but you just hear it.
Oh,
Ugh.
yes, yeah. That was effective.
Yeah, this was pretty bloodless,
Again,
and it was.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Again, it's kind of Halloweenish in that Halloween
Yeah.
really, you take out the mechanic or the tow truck driver, whatever it was that you don't even see die. You take him out, and there isn't a kill until like almost 60 minutes in, and the 3 kills are pretty bloodless. It's very similar to this. Takes him, there's a kill in the first 5 minutes, then there's nothing for another hour, and then everything is relatively bloodless. Like they got the formula down to a T.
I thought she'd explode. And that dress wouldn't take much.
She looks great.
Listen, if you need a ride home after.
Thanks.
Well, you can't really say that this one didn't try to make the characters 3-dimensional.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it work, is that I think what it was with something that I heard a lot with Halloween is that people found it scary because of how suburban everything looked, and I think in this case it all looks very high school, and developing the characters that way makes it seem very high school. You shouldn't confuse every day with boring, and I think that this movie is quite good in not making the characters boring. You're sort of invested in what's happening with them.
Yeah. And they're not cookie cutter slasher movie characters either.
I think if there's a fault for the way that they copied, or the way that they use the Halloween template and all of the character development they do, that's just not a bad thing. I think if there is a fault, it's that Halloween does a better job ratcheting up the suspense and the dread.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
the first 2 acts of this movie are like 95% character work and the occasional harassing phone call.
Yes. I think what benefited Halloween is that score. There's really no discernible score for me in this movie.
Yeah.
No tension building.
You get the occasional violin.
Yes.
But
I wouldn't be able to.
no,
If you were to
there's
hum it
not.
to me, I'll be like, oh, I don't know where that's from. And here's your first bit of blood.
This was it's hard to believe, especially since you were saying, Jed, how easy it is to find streaming, that there was a time when this was hard to find, Anchor Bay put it out on DVD in, I think, '98, and it was one of the first the first DVDs that they put out, and then it went out of print, and that DVD looked like shit. By the way, it was so fucking dark. Only when it came out on I can't remember the name of the company, but they really polished it up. And I remember looking at screen comparisons, and the one that really sticks out, or the one moment, because they did a side by side of the shot when Wendy is at the end of the hall, and in the Anchor Bay, you couldn't even tell what color her dress was. But they when Synapse put it out, they did the 2K remaster. So with each release, it kept getting
improved.
Yeah. They kept improving it. But for one of the budget DVDs that came out during the aughts, they took a still shot from Halloween H2O and kind of tweaked it a bit. But I'm pretty sure it's the scene when Jamie Lee Curtis is looking at Michael Myers through the window, the circular window. It's that shot, and there's a corsage. It's like her face in like a knife blade or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think I still do. Ow. I wonder if they're really cutting meat or something. I think I still have my prom night.
Actually, it sounded a bit like a
t-shirt.
Captain's log.
Have you guys seen both the covers? The one with the ski mask and the one with Jamie and the axe?
No,
with the flowers.
I've just seen the ski mask one.
Yeah, there's another one. I think it was for the second VHS release, or yeah, and it's her, and she's got the prom queen crown on, and she's holding some flowers.
Oh yes,
axe.
I have seen that. Now that you say it, yep.
I don't like that one. I prefer the ski
Well, that one
mask.
looks almost like a soap opera. How it looked.
So speaking of DVD releases, I just was curious because you were mentioning how hard it had become. I wanted to see how easy it is now to get on Amazon. So I can get it with the Jamie Lee Curtis cover for about $10. I can get it with the ski mask cover for about $14. Here's where it gets interesting. It's also available in a couple movie multi-packs. One is a Prom Night triple feature with Prom Night 1, 2, and 4, but skipping 3.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's not even the weirdest one. The really weird one is Prom Night and Ghoulies 4. I dare you.
Isn't that the one where they go to space too?
From the looks of the cover shot, I think so, because the woman on the cover is looking pretty, either she's futuristic or she's some type of dominatrix. I'm not sure.
So they couldn't possibly be more unrelated. But I can understand why they skipped over part 3 for that triple feature, because it's so hard to get the R-rated cut of part 3. See, now I'm saying this now, and watch, like 10 years from now, it's going to be everywhere. But yeah, it's just the TV version on the DVD here, and I think in the UK and Australia there is the R-rated version. And the Australian version has a totally different cover. The main cover is the lead guy and Mary Lou in a motorcycle, and the Australian one has Mary Lou wrapped in an American flag.
Interesting.
And I remember, and I've never seen this anywhere else, but I think right when, because the USA Network used to do this thing. I know they did it with Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 and a couple of other movies around 89, 90, 91. And I think it was for the live entertainment VHS, but it was either right when the movie came out on VHS or right before they would air the movie as a primetime movie. So, and I remember in the TV guide that week when Prom Night 3 was premiering, there was a picture of Mary Lou with a crown on and she's blowing a kiss. And I've never seen that artwork ever again. Anywhere.
Why don't we go back in the van?
Why?
I found one more DVD triple feature set that I have to mention. It's called the Dying to Be Popular triple feature.
Oh, God.
Carrie, the original.
Mm-hmm.
Prom Night 2. And Swim Fan.
Oh.
See, I was expecting you to say Jawbreakers for the last one, just out of nowhere.
But nope, hard left turn. Swim Fan.
Swim Fan is on a lot of double features and triple features.
Yes.
So is Joyride.
Okay.
Or it's either Joyride or Wrong Turn.
I could see either one of those, honestly. Although I imagine Wrong Turn would be more like double featured with its own sequels.
Yeah. Although here, I feel that Wrong Turn Part 1 was the lowest rated by way of, it was a, I'll use your terminology. Here it was a R rating and the others were all NC-17.
Well, the rest of them are all straight to video.
Yeah.
So I think they were all unrated.
Although there's, which one is the one where it's got like the incest?
I feel like you're going to describe every one of them.
True. No, there's one where like there's this whole cult and like his sister rapes her brother or something. Oh. It's really screwed up. Like it takes place.
Isn't that the origin one?
I don't recall. I remember seeing a review for it on Dead Meat, and it.
I think that's part 4.
It just look. I mean, I've never been interested in the Wrong Turn series in the first place, but as I watched each successive review and I then got to that one, ooh, that really looked like a really sketchy movie. Like,
yeah, they took a wrong turn.
Not just low budget, but low class.
Sleazy.
Yeah.
Now, I was wondering, is the killer's ski mask bejeweled?
No, it's sparkly.
Yes.
But
see, I could wear that at the
bejeweled.
Met Gala.
That would be fashionable at the Met Gala.
Yes.
Well, at the very least, it would certainly get you attention.
COVID appropriate.
Oh, she was Jude who just got killed.
Yes. Now, Slick wasn't part of the original 4, was he?
Who?
The guy getting killed now. He was just like an innocent bystander.
No,
that gets
no,
killed.
no, no, no.
Incidental kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a van that blew up before it actually made contact.
Yes.
A van that blew up on its way down by the river.
Oh my god.
Oh.
You're gonna have plenty of time to live in a van down by the river when you're living in a van down by the river.
I feel like Helen Sharp's co-patience when she says, I want to talk about Madeline Ashton.
Her ass is so fake. It looks like two balloons.
I don't think you need to buy it being real. You realize that she has been padded out. Although I have seen women with huge asses like that. It was where it's almost like they create their own ledge.
You know what I've said many times before.
Is that how you say
I'm not a musical person, but I never understood what was so bad about the musical number in the beginning that everybody was walking out.
Of what?
I didn't think it was that bad.
Of what?
In
Death Becomes Her.
I think that was just the audience of the musical, whereas I think the people watching Death Become Her liked the song. I think because it was about it was like a musical version of Sweet Songbird of Youth or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Sweet Bird of Youth.
Yes. And so they're just offended by making it a musical.
It was supposed to be that she was a bad actress.
Jed, have you seen Death Becomes Her? Sorry. Before we get too far into it.
I haven't seen it, but it's been I've seen it once, like when it came out. I couldn't, other than the fact that was it like Meryl Streep's head ends up backwards on her body, I think.
Oh yes.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It's very much a gay.
Well, I also consider it a good introductory horror for kids, if you want to get them into horror, because it's an easy watch.
Well, it's kind of.
Well, I'm saying it's not horror for adults, but for kids, they'd be like, oh.
Yeah, I just threw my kids into the deep end of the pool with slasher.
Yeah, that was my upbringing, because I had older sisters that just would rent horror movies.
I don't know where I read this, probably IMDb, but when Lou gets his head cut off, it's clearly him in the catwalk with his head sticking out of a hole. But they said that was really, really hard for him to do because he was severely claustrophobic.
And the director or someone had to hold his hand.
Something. But you wouldn't think that greasy, pockmarked, unibrow, Joe Spinell-looking motherfucker would have any sort of phobias.
Aside from a mirror.
There you go.
Maybe fire. Tell me you can't picture him going, bad. Fire! Bad!
No!
I imagine he would be terrified of a can of fucking arid extra dry or...
Bar of ivory.
Oh my god.
Ivory.
He looked like he was dipped in 40 weight, too. I mean, not just hair, it's like hair and skin. The dude's got a glaze to him like a Krispy Kreme donut.
He does.
The one complaint I sort of have is it is. Now I'm saying this, I can't actually remember. It was the girl's brother who's the killer, right?
Yeah. Well, Kim's brother. Yeah.
I never thought.
Or Rob. Well, it was Rob. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I never thought it was anyone else, but like I didn't see any of the other characters and go, oh, I wonder if it's him. But I guess it wasn't being designed as a murder mystery. It was just a horror.
Well, they really didn't try very hard to make you think that it was the guy who was a sex offender.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Was in the car wreck.
Yeah, no, they just kind of throw him up out of the blue and then forget him. And there's a couple lingering shots on a landscaper that's a little sketchy.
Yeah.
But they never really commit to making either of them red herrings.
No.
So yeah, I agree. I think that is the biggest fault of the movie, is that the killer is pretty damn obvious.
Yeah.
One of my favorite shots has always been, and I hate to give Jamie Lee Curtis, pay her a compliment, because I think she's got her head quite far up her own ass.
Well, she's using Activia.
But one of my favorite moments in this movie has always been the moment when she realizes it's him.
Yeah.
The look on her face. It's just eerie.
She can understand the motive.
Yeah, it's like she's processing it all in that moment, and she knows. I can't believe she's not fucking dead yet. What the fuck?
This is a long chase.
This is a really long chase. This is a lot longer than I remember it being.
Ditto.
She hides in a few places.
And I've seen this movie a lot. I don't remember this being so long.
I
guess they want.
Go ahead.
I guess they wanted to extend it because she was the worst of them.
I was just going to say, if it got any longer, she would have to end up getting body painted in a shower in the world's most unerotic sex scene. And in that garage scene, I noticed, even more than before, how sparkly that ski mask is.
It's
like, his head's a damn disco ball.
Yes.
And my wife is a crocheter, so I've seen around the house that that yarn. She'd kill me if I said thread, because that's completely different. Threads for sewing, don't you know? But that I've seen that yarn with the sparkle built into it.
Yes, yeah.
So,
so she could make us our very own prom night ski mask.
Yes, she could, in any color you want. But just why? Like, you're trying to be intimidating. You're trying to scare someone. Make them feel fear before they die.
Well,
why are you
he wants to
trying
look fabulous at the same time.
I know, it is the fucking prom.
It seems like he bedazzled it for prom. That's how it sort of seemed to me.
Ooh. That's creepy. No, but I think that was a choice probably so he wouldn't get lost in the background.
Oh, no, I'm sure it works for filmic reasons, but...
Yeah.
As a rational human being.
Like us. Yeah. film nerds like us then just start looking at it and wondering, from within the movie universe itself,
Yes.
why did he decide to go as a human glitter bomb?
Is it so he could blend in with the crowd at the prom?
Kim, where's your father?
Well, that was Lou's mask initially.
Who's to present the bouquet?
Mr. Weller?
Of course, Monty. Why didn't I think about my...
I guess, I mean,
me
if
this
they
doesn't
worked
sound
on
like I
it,
will
they could have
survive.
made Leslie Nielsen's character a suspect, being he had the mask and it was his daughter that died.
Could have. The only problem might have been body type.
Yes.
What did he do?
Height and body type are definitely not the same between dad and son here.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very thin.
Break a leg. You're...
I think the gym teacher scrubs up quite nicely.
You all set, Davey?
That
Oh my god. You say the weirdest things.
No, but like she was being portrayed as some like a dyke gym teacher, but
Oh my god. James texted me earlier, and I told him that we were going to be recording. He asked me what movie, and he said, "Oh, which one?" I said, "Is that a serious question?"
Right, because you haven't done any of the prom nights yet, so...
No. He thought I was gonna. There was a chance I might be doing the remake.
well, I asked you about, but that was because I was confusing it with another movie,
Real cute.
You look fine.
and now I can't remember what movie I was confusing it with. But I told you what.
That I don't even like to call it a remake. It's just another movie called Prom Night.
Yeah,
But that movie was so bad.
I don't even remember it. Aside from being unsuspenseful.
No, it was not suspenseful at all.
Was Jonathan Strange in it?
Check. Yeah. He's another one who comes up on the podcast a
Yeah,
lot,
and I never know
every
his
time he
last name.
does, you say his name wrong.
And wasn't the lead Brittany Snow?
Yes.
Brittany Snow, yeah.
I never saw it. I remember seeing the previews for it, and why? That was my overwhelming fear of it. Why?
Well, I think...
She's in that movie X.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I think My Bloody Valentine was pretty successful, and I think after that they started doing a few 80s remakes.
No. That was late. That was 09.
Okay.
They had been doing them for a while. I remember that was one of the first big 3D movies.
Yeah, and that was the movie I was confusing it with when I asked, which one are you doing? Because I remember you saying that you prefer the remake.
Yes.
Now I'm trying to think of what were the earlier remakes that really kind of got the whole... Oh, Texas Chainsaw.
Oh, yes.
Because that was like in 03.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you
that-
got Dawn of the Dead in 04.
And that's pretty much where Platinum Dunes got the idea of, hey, if they'll buy this...
I don't understand why people like... Oh!
Oh, gosh.
I don't understand why people like the Chainsaw remake from 03. I liked it at the time because I think it was another one of those movies that I tried to convince myself was good, but it's... I mean, it has some good moments. I really like the scene when he's chainsawing the top of the van and the sparks are flying. That was really cool. But the rest of it, I hated the family. And you can't have a chainsaw movie without a dinner scene, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yes. They try to recapture that in their sequel, or the prequel, should I say. One thing that I didn't like, that a lot of people did like, but I just didn't like about it, is I didn't like R. Lee Emery in it. I think that...
Arlie Ermy. Well, Arlie Ermy just played played Arlie Ermy in everything that he was in.
Yes.
But he did it so well. He was really good at being him.
See,
he was like the Buck Flower of his style, I suppose.
Yeah, that's an apt comparison.
I like him. I liked him in especially Full Metal Jacket, obviously. But with all of the Chainsaw Massacres, I find people consider me weird when I say I actually find Leatherface to be a bit of a sweetheart. And when he's played cruelly, I don't like it.
Well, like in the first one, when the father's smacking him around, you know, he's like a little...
Yeah, and like he puts on his pretty face for the dinner scene. You know, it's got such an innocence that... and even in the first one, I think it was the director saying that it's really, if you look at it from a different angle, it's a story about a family protecting their house from intruders.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know that I ever bought Toby Hooper's I was trying to make a black comedy, though, because it's not funny. There's no angle that movie is funny.
No.
I feel I can see it, that he was approaching it with a humorous eye.
Well, the original title was Head Cheese.
Yes.
Interesting. All right, so since I am not a Texas Chainsaw guy, I admit I've only seen one of them, and I've never really been interested in them, so... Question. The 03 remake or 3D?
I didn't hear the second part of what you said.
Which one is more tolerable, the 03 remake or Texas Chainsaw 3D?
Oh God, the 03 remake.
I haven't seen 3D to let you know, but
all I know of 3D is one, its inability to process the time stream, the continuity, and two, do your thing, cuz.
Probably one of the worst lines in horror movie history. I still don't understand why he dies. She hit him with the blunt end of the axe. Why did that kill him?
you can still get hit by yeah.
He could have got a concussion, but
No,
I don't think he would have died.
I don't know if it was international, but in Australia, we had a spate of people dying. It was called they were getting a king hit to the head. People would be out on a night on the town, and then suddenly some idiot would come up behind them and just punch him in the back of the head, and they'd die from it.
Oh.
Yeah,
those bogans.
Here in Detroit, a few years back, there was at an adult amateur soccer, kind of like a pickup league, like a softball team or whatever. A player and a referee got into a fight, or into an argument, and the player sucker punched the referee, caused a subdural hematoma, dropped dead right there in the field.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And that's not, he didn't hit him with like a hammer or anything, he hit him with a fist.
Yeah.
So
you just get the wrong place, and
yeah,
life slips away.
Isn't that sad music?
It's like boo-hoo, he died in the end.
It's a very abrupt ending too. It's like
yes.
He falls down, he cries a bit, he passes away. Oh, we're out of time, folks.
Credits.
Yeah, because we spent 20 minutes chasing Wendy around the whole fucking school. She even took a lap in the fucking pool.
Stop
She
to
climbed
finish
the
your
ropes
shop
in the
project.
gym. Mm-hmm.
And the 5-minute dance sequence.
And the 5-minute dance sequence, which was not nominated for an MTV Movie Award.
Well, that probably ended the first bit of the movie, and then the second bit was the horror. This is such a, like, it reminds you of Will There Be a Morning After type of song.
Like Karen Carpenter.
Yeah, or like all those disaster movies, how they had like some female singer at the end.
There is an AM easy listening feel to it.
Yes.
Like the type of music that you're going to hear when you get into your grandmother's car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is not good.
Gordine Simpson, Fade to Black.
But
I
listen
can't
to that
even get.
something solo. Like, is that a guitar? Was that an electric kazoo? What the shit was that?
Yeah, I couldn't actually figure out what that was. It might have been, you know, there was that keyboard that people played like a guitar. It's slung over the shoulder and...
Keytar.
Yeah, keytar. I'm taking your word for it. But that sounds like a good name for it.
Yeah, that's what it was called. It was called a keytar.
Did you bring that up because of lights?
No. I didn't realize that she played a keytar.
She does. She plays it live a lot. Well, that was Prom Night
80.
Well, yes, I mean that goes without saying.
Because there's no chance in hell we're watching the remake.
No,
Well, Jed, your kids might have thought it was made the other day.
In my mind, there are certain movies that just don't exist, and that
Yes.
other movie called Prom Night is one of them, as is The Craft fucking Legacy.
Oh, Lord. That really ruined David Duchovny's legacy, I think.
When the previews for that came out, again, that was another one where I just went, but why? Like it's not. I always have to remind myself that it's not impossible that a sequel that is long delayed can be good. Return to Oz. I'm a huge fan of Return to Oz, and there was like 50 years.
Yeah,
between
James
those two.
is too.
So it's not impossible, but it's highly improbable.
Yeah.
And what's the time difference between Craft and Craft Legacy? What, 25 years? 28?
What is it? Well, The Craft was 96, and that was 20. It was 25.
Yeah.
It was 2021.
Like, time's passed, guys. It's you missed the window.
I think their mistake was in trying to modernize it. Going to what you were saying, a sequel that I quite liked was Mad Max Fury Road, and that was long between Thunderdome. But they were basically telling the same story as they did in the 80s. They weren't trying to make a modern version of the same thing, trying to make it more recent.
Right.
Was Tina Turner in that one?
Ike was.
Oh. So, that's the end of School Scare September.
So when does school
It's a good ride.
when does school return in September?
Well, it's August for some.
Oh, yeah.
But in America, September is seen as back to school month
You know,
for the most part.
even now, even though I'm not, I always get a tinge of sadness whenever I see the back to school specials sales come on, because it just means the kids have to go back to school.
Well, I used to, not so much anymore. But yeah, it was always very depressing.
And sort of like right after Christmas, you'd get these ads for, you can get exercise books for 60 cents or something.
After Christmas, that's so fucking weird. Your country is so ass backwards.
Sorry, that's right. I forgot that. So we would go Christmas specials and then back to school specials straight away.
That's so odd.
I find it strange that you started school year mid-year.
Well, we're not going to go back to school during the dog days of summer. So, you know, when the weather starts to change.
No, but
Starts to
that
get
your
a little
first
colder.
semester is, August.
Mine never was. That was usually the Catholic schools. But mine, because I was at the public school, my first day back was always after Labor Day.
Oh, so you couldn't wear white.
Right. Otherwise, I would have risked my life.
Sorry, what were you going to say, Jed?
Well, I was just agreeing that mine was at the same time. It was always the first day after Labor Day, so like it was like the first Tuesday in September. So
yeah,
because Labor Day is the unofficial end of summer.
Yes.
So
sorry, kids, you all got to go back.
Well, they've already been back. So, Jed, how did you like being the straight meat and the hummus sandwich?
I look forward to doing it again.
Where on the dole did we violate you?
In the everywhere position.
You take the doll and throw it on the floor.
Bad doll.
All over.
No, this was damn fun doing a 3-man booth. It's a different feeling, but it's fun.
Yeah, it was enjoyable getting to have this experience.
Yeah, different energy.
Yes,
good fun energy to different senses of humor to play off each other.
And if you'll notice, I was completely silent during the whole prom dress dissection.
Vivification.
Right. Where the straight guy was talking about it, whose fashion sense stopped in 1993.
Yes, who wears Super Mario Brothers pajama pants to work.
Well, I work in my basement, so...
Yeah, you made it sound like you're out there on the subway wearing...
Put on a pair of fucking jeans, Jesus Christ.
Why? Who's seeing me? I don't need to wear
Your
jeans
wife.
Downstairs.
You think Alicia wants to see you in those pajama pants?
He's wearing Lululemon leggings, so...
Lululemon, oh my god. Do the twins wear their pajamas when they're doing their schoolwork?
Oh, they don't wear jeans at all, anyway.
They don't? Where they wear chinos?
Lounge pants, sweatpants, stuff like that. That's what teenagers wear now, man. They don't. A lot of teenage boys don't even bother with jeans anymore. It's lounge pants and sweatpants and pajama style pants.
Have snap pants made a return? Have snap pants made a return?
What are snap pants?
Oh, the Adidas ones?
Yeah. There were ones with buttons all the way down that you could sort of snap off.
Oh, yeah, no, those haven't made a comeback.
They were like gigolo pants, but for sportsy.
with that Sporty Spice.
Yes.
She was never seen out of them. Or wearing anything else, rather. Okay. Well, unless anybody has any final thoughts on prom night, I think we should wrap this one up.
I guess my final thought is, when in Rome, speak Italian.
See, now's when I'd be face palming, Jed.
Yes, I know. I can sense it. I go back and forth on this movie. Like the last time I watched it, which was a couple of years ago, we showed it to the twins, and this was one of the few slasher movies that my wife had seen prior to meeting me, and we both walked away from it going, God, that was more boring than I thought it was. This time around, I appreciated it more. So apparently my mood on prom night is dependent on the day.
Yeah. Although you reminded me that I feel that in the 70s there was some more feminine horror movies. Like my sister saw Carrie, and prom night, whereas she wouldn't be watching horror these days.
You mean horror movies that were aimed or that were attractive more?
Yeah, for a female
girls.
audience. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, like Happy Birthday to Me and what other girly ones were there? No, I'm drawing a blank.
I guess you could say Sweet 16, sort of.
Sweet 16, yeah, I would say Sweet 16.
Except for it gets really, really kind of male gazy on the main character.
That's our job.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
It feels like
Awkward transition. Very well done.
It feels like we're gonna have to start pushing this car towards the end.
Yeah, so this is, as I said, the last of School Scare September. So in the coming, or next week, we're going to start the first of our Halloween-themed commentaries on the Blind Rage podcast. So I hope you guys, or everybody, or you too, everybody and people in general, should listen for that, because that's going to be fun. Yeah, I really worked myself to the bone last year for October, because there were 3 episodes per week, but we're not going to do that. And they were all features, but we're not going to do that this year. That's too much. You don't want to flood the market. But yeah, so Halloween's coming up. It's the season of the witch. It's my favorite holiday, and I'm sure it's yours too, Jed.
Oh yeah, well, it's tied with Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving means sit around and eat at someone else's house, and I don't have to do the dishes.
There you go.
But Halloween means Hooptober, so 31 movies.
Oh, good.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure you'll make an appearance.
Oh yeah.
During October. So, and Tony, you will be back probably.
Mm-hmm.
If you're nice to me.
Yes. I can get Mitchell to fill in my spot if you like.
Mitchell would, yes. He always has lots to say. He's very chatty. Unfortunately, nobody can understand him except me. So, okay. I want to thank you, Jed, for joining me. Thank you, Tony, for joining me. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad I was able to get you two guys together for an episode.
Giggity.
So, yeah. Until next time, this is Brandon Ford wishing you all unpleasant dreams.